Hello students, in our earlier lecture we have gone through the vertical channel of communication and the downward communication and upward communication, the advantages, nature and characteristics of the vertical communication that you will find in earlier lectures. Now, it is our next channel of communication, which is formal channel of communication is horizontal communication. So, in what way the horizontal communication takes place? See, the definition of the horizontal communication is persons of similar and almost similar status in an organization is horizontal communication. So, it is very simple in the true sense of the term. The words itself tells us that it stands for the communication that takes place at the equivalent level, equal status, just like managers, all managers are at equal stage. Supervisors, all supervisors in the department or at equal stress, or secretaries. If the communication is taking place at the same level, that is called as horizontal communication. Organization works with various hierarchy or say so-called officers, and equal status officers or managers are always coordinating to conduct their day-to-day activities. The communication needs to be made to these officers in their routine work, in their day-to-day activities, and that we see in the horizontal communication. So, we do have the equal status managers and supervisors. So, it helps to conduct day-to-day activities, policy related work, responsibilities, at the same time new initiatives, new plannings, or if they feel they have certain difficulties, certain mistakes, or some procedural difficulties, obstacles that they can get across and discuss among themselves and get them solved. So, the difficulties are solved at this stage, and that is what it is called as the equal status. And it is rather than communicating to the next higher authority, the employee or the officer gets the suggestion and opinions of the equivalent persons, and that is what when the human resource is coordinating, communicating and getting their work done, it stands for the organizational work. So, the organizational works gets coordinated in horizontal communication. Next is the horizontal communication develops the cooperation among them. The cooperation is about their routine work. The cooperation is about their routine responsibilities and activities. It stands for cooperation. It stands for the coordination. So, without having cooperation, the works cannot or the officer cannot respond positively, and that is what cooperation and coordination, both of them are the activities that is done by the management. So, the coordination and cooperation, both of these goes together in the organizational setup. So, by having such officials or human resource, those who work in the organization, they share their responsibility. If a person is appointed on a particular post, there is certain works, duties and responsibilities that the post is responsible for, or the man who is responsible for is appointed for this task. So, we have the greater sense of responsibility in the organizational setup. So, we have the greater sense of responsibility, and naturally we have seen the accuracy in the work. The accuracy is about this. See, so the officers works accordingly and with a responsible way carries out their duties and responsibilities. So, it is nothing other but the accuracy of the work that they see. At the same time, when the equal status persons are coming together having a good quality discussion, they are meeting regularly whether in the office or at the outside. If these members are working and discussing their work related activities, they assign themselves certain duties and tasks. So, naturally the next higher authority is not consulted, but they are taking their own decision at their own level. So, naturally if the message goes upward, it is the vertical communication and the higher authority comes into play. But if horizontal communication is there, it is the decentralization of authority that takes place. So, these are some of the features of horizontal communication. So, when we study the horizontal communication and its features, we have to see in what way the horizontal communication is useful. As we have seen, there are the teamwork, as we have seen the coordination and cooperation. Suppose if the members are coming together, meeting, having a regular discussion on a particular topic or difficulties, definitely they work together. If they are working together as a team, the team spirit gets developed. They work as an organizer, they work as a team, and when the team works together, when the team is having a good team spirit, such persons are definitely are going to work efficiently. Then we have high morale. See, as we have seen that the team spirit gets improved. At the same time, without having authoritative approach, they works on the similar level, and naturally it stands for to develop the high morale, and this high morale is generated by working together. See, and that is what we have seen. Then another aspect, another element that we see in the horizontal communication is that it eliminates jealousy. Since horizontal communication, when everyone is working together, they are having free and fair discussion, having good quality discussion on the particular topic, business related activities, policies or the difficulties that comes up. Such a discussion promotes a good understanding. Such a discussion and work related duties gets them cooperated and gets them coordinated, and that way what we see are helpful to eliminate the jealousy among the staff. So, this horizontal communication is useful in this regard. Then, horizontal communication, when there are so many employees that are involved, naturally there is going to be a kind of informal communication or gossips or sometimes rumors. So, we can check the rumors, the grapevine communication. So, to tap and control the grapevine communication, अफवा आपण म्हणतो, अफवेला जर कंट्रोल ठेवायचा असेल तर हॉरिझॉन्टल किंवा इफेक्टिव्ह कम्युनिकेशन हे त्या ठिकाणी प्रभावी असावं. आणि तेव्हा कुठे आपल्याला हे इनफॉर्मल अफवेचं रूप जे आहे ते आपल्याला कंट्रोलमध्ये ठेवता येतं, नियंत्रणात ठेवता येतं. आणि म्हणून हे चेक्स ग्रेपव्हाईन यासाठी हॉरिझॉन्टल कम्युनिकेशन उपयोगाचं असतं. Next important point that we have to see is that of disadvantages. See, the horizontal communication is definitely is a very good, but it is disadvantageous in the sense if the employees who are working together among the equal rank holders, but if the equal rank holders are at higher level, superiors are at higher level, are meeting together, we feel that there is a jealousy among the staff member, and that is what we see in this. Then horizontal communication is time consuming. If the discussion is not achieving a proper end, if the discussion is not suitable towards the policy decisions, if the discussion is not having a certain direction and not coming into a fruitful decisions, such a discussion turns out to nothing. And that is what all these discussion and all the time spent by each members, it's a waste of time, it's time consuming. So, the discussion should come out with a proper result. So, the horizontal communication is disadvantageous in this respect. If the employees who are taking some kind of a reserves, they are having reservations, they are not fulfilling or not taking active participation in the work and coordination in the job and duties, if they are lacking certain inspirations to conduct the work, day-to-day activities, such employees are non-cooperating employees, and these non-cooperating employees need to be understood. So, if the non-cooperating employees are there, the work doesn't get the proper coordination, and naturally it is going to harm the entire decision making process, fruitful discussion, and there is not a proper coordination of all those business activities. So, in such cases, we come to realize that that vertical effective communication is more effective, since it brings us the discipline, and in such cases we feel that vertical communication is more effective. There are in horizontal communication we feel that there are certain registers of language. Suppose the typical persons are using typical language. If the CS is there, he is using legal language to speak and to opine his viewpoint. If the person is from management, he speaks through the management language. Or if the engineer is there at equal status, he speaks from the engineering language. So like this, different people, different officers speaks different types of languages, and that may cause some kind of a problem in understanding and getting their message across to another. So naturally these different registers of language hampers the entire communication process, and that is what it is a disadvantage. Then if we see the horizontal communication is different, and if it is used in excess, then it turns out to be disadvantage. If the officers are meeting regularly and taking their own policy decisions rather than consulting the higher authority, in such cases definitely it brings us certain imbalance in the administrative setup, in the management of the organization, and that is what such decisions are disrupted by the higher authority, or it may go against the policy decisions of the higher authority, and that is what such a policies may turn out to nothing, and that is what it turns into a disadvantage. So in this way we have studied the horizontal channel of communication, and this horizontal communication is a formal channel of communication that we see in the business communication. So I would recommend you to go through the Manan Prakashan book. At the same time, there is another book from state publication that you can go through. At the same time, there is few books or reference books that are available in the subject, so you can understand. And at the same time, the communication related books are also advantageous for you to get the gist of this communication. So it is a very wonderful idea and very encouraging to learn and participate in this so-called communication skill development. So I would recommend these books for you to go through. Thank you.